my channel doing some comic book art. Very big, major new project coming down the line. Militia Man and MAGA Force. It's a graphic novel I'm developing. This is some poster art. I will be giving away free art in the form of screensavers and PDF folder posters that you can print. There's just a little example of some of the artwork, some of the characters. So it's just a chill Friday night art studio stream. Nothing crazy, just me drawing. Hey, brother, Arcology is back. It's good to see you, man. It's nice to have you here. Like I said, it's just a kind of a laid-back art studio stream. I'm going to be doing tons of art studio streams. This is kind of the new me, the new direction I'll be moving in. Working on putting out comic books. Oh, thanks. I'm happy you love it. Me too. I'll talk about the story as it goes. As everybody knows on my channel, I had the Imperium Art Show for quite, gosh, I don't know, 2 years, and many other things. I would love to be doing music again, but it's just a super time-consuming thing. I have to kind of pick between what it is that I want to do, and I really want to do comics. I love comics. I've always wanted to go into comics. So this is some stuff I'm doing right now. I'm in the pencil phase of some cover art of the main character. I'm actually kind of, I don't know what the word is. I'm like uncertain that I want to use this as a cover. You have the main character. It's kind of light. It's hard to see with just pencil, but the main character, and he's flying over a crowd of essentially patriots, and they're kind of they're carrying tiki torches. So it's hard to imagine this color, try to imagine it in color. And a variety of just ordinary people, ordinary patriots dressed in different kind of clothing, it's sort of a MAGA crowd. So anyway, I am going to be working on this, and occasionally I will stop to check to see if there are any comments in the chat. But usually I just sort of focus, and that's what I'm going to do. So enjoy. It's too bad there wasn't like a little bell that went ding, and then I knew like, oh, there's a question or something. I just sort of go and kind of take a peek every once in a while to see if anybody's talking to me. I don't mean to be rude. So as you can kind of see from what I'm doing, a certain symmetry that I'm trying to create here with this character. I don't know, I think symmetry has like a very strong design kind of quality to it. It exists in nature, but it just gives like maybe a supernatural quality to things when you see it in art. Trying to give a certain level of symmetry to this character here. And if you know me, I go in and I do a lot of the finishing touches when I do the inking. So the pencil is in a sense kind of like laying out the map, and then the inking is when I'm sort of riding on the road, so to speak, if you want to put it that way. I've been agonizing over these different gun designs. Like I've been looking up all kinds of different handguns that look cool. Probably makes my search on Google look a little suspicious, but anyway, I'm sort of at a point where I'm like, you know what, just make it up. Just like create your own design. You know what I mean? Like the cool thing in this comic is that this lead character, his guns are gold. So it's really nice when you get to see it in color. And it's just something about gold guns that, of course they look expensive, but they also give a certain air of I don't know. There's something special about the guy that owns them, you know. So anyway, let's continue here. It's funny because sometimes you just feel like you're talking to yourself in your studio, and it's kind of my teacher instinct that kicks in. Like I can just work and not talk, but like it almost feels rude, you know. Like I feel like I need to give you guys some understanding of what I'm thinking while I'm doing it. You know, I'm not so sure you find that interesting. Um, you know, sometimes it's fun just to talk about whatever, like current events or something. There's a hell of a lot going on. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm still very edgelordy, if you will. But I have my little secrets, my little ways of doing things. Yeah, that's what's what. Interesting times we're living in. A little tricky to get into while I'm drawing, though. But I'm having really interesting discussions with good friends that are very intelligent and what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're, you know, they've been in this movement, the white positive movement, if you will, for a good long time, and they know, you know, who's who and what's what, and all of the dramas and you know the good things and the bad, and it's just interesting to get everybody's take on stuff, see what's happening. So like I'm always up for chatting politics and stuff, but I'm not like I don't have to kind of thing, and I wonder if maybe these art streams should not be political or I don't know. I mean maybe I'll let you guys decide that. That's kind of up to you. You know how what you feel like or whatever. Let's see if anybody's here, and there's got 3 people. So welcome, my 3 people. Let's see if I can try to figure out how to. Oh, there's the chat. I do find that interesting. I'm practicing guitar riffs over even if you weren't talking. That's very cool. Yeah, Arcology's back. Arcology, you were gone for a while, I think, from the White Art Collective scene. Do your thing, man. I really enjoy this kind of stuff. Nice. Yeah, everybody, like all the old hats, were super happy to see you again. You know, so welcome back. I've been through my own kind of changes and hardships. So, like, I just now noticed that this arm is like wider out than this one. So I have to erase this entire arm and redraw it to be kind of at this angle, at the same angle. So like this hand should be here, not here. And you know, people look at a drawing and they're like, oh my God, that must have taken so long. The drawing itself, yes, but like there's this other process of doing what I'm doing, you know, kind of editing, seeing like, okay, what went wrong? How do I fix it? So I'm looking at the forearm here, and again, I'm trying to make it very symmetrical. I think there's a certain something about that look that's, I suppose that it lends itself to the heroic, mythological nature of this character, or superheroes in general, you know. And I'm just sort of eyeballing it as well, as you can kind of tell. In my brain, I have to do kind of like a mirror image, you know. I have to like see everything in its opposite and try to carry it over. And meanwhile, I'm thinking through, like, like when the hand holds something, there's a sort of a curve here. It's not like a square. So, I just add those little bits. Then there's the angle of the wrist. There's just a ton of stuff that happens. It's hard. It's just plain talk. It's hard to do, especially when you're talking and not concentrating. So a lot of comics guys, they'll use Photoshop. They'll like take a photo of a gun and then like put it into the artwork. You know, Here I'm just again doing it by hand, by eye, if you will, and takes a bit longer to do. It's harder to do. So yeah, I've it's been a tough year. This was the first Thanksgiving without my mom. It was, every day is just trying not to have feelings. Every day is just trying to escape the pain. It's tough. Anybody who has lost somebody knows these kinds of experiences. It's awful. It doesn't get better. People say, "Oh, I hope you're doing good," and you don't want to be a downer. You don't want to like constantly be talking about, you know, living in like a surreal sort of hell. Nobody wants to hear that. You have to move on. It's the cruelty of life. Is it like you can't just stop when these things happen. Not that I want to, but it's very devastating. So I don't know how to explain it. It's just it's awful. I guess it's the only thing I can really say. A good friend of mine invited my son and I to his place last night for Thanksgiving. So he saved the day. He saved the day. I'm not like a cook. I don't know how to make a turkey and do all those things. And God bless the people who can. Of course, my mom did that stuff. Like a lot of moms do. Um, so I'm just so grateful for him. And a lot of times I think about gratitude as a spiritual practice. So that helps tremendously. Not everybody's got their own ways of doing things, and that's one of mine. And it works. It has to be very intentional. It's kind of like the way people diet or exercise. There's a kind of a mental fortitude of like, okay, I'm doing this. It's the same thing with practicing gratitude, again, as a kind of a spiritual practice. To when you wake up, when you go to bed, throughout the day, to talk to God and thank God for all the things that you have. There's something about it. Um, I don't know how to describe it, but it does change your frame of mind. It changes the state of your emotions. It changes the vibe that you give off that other people feel, and it's very healthy. It's very powerful. So I recommend it. And it's not like I just came up with this. I had been, I don't, I'm always researching things and contemplating, life and death and these things. It's just who I am. I may not be, I'm no Tyler Hamilton or John David Ebert or something. I'm not like as intelligent as those guys, but I am. I feel deeply, and I contemplate my life all the time. So I feel like I often wonder, like, why aren't people doing that? It's like, how can you not do that? This is very amazing, wonderful, tragic comedy journey that we're on here, folks. I think quite a lot about the white identity movement. And I know people scoff sometimes when you call it a movement. I think that's a little cruel. My good friend Nullis, he rephrased it as like, oh, it's a struggle, rather than a movement. To call it a struggle, and I was like, wow, the what do we say, like, the struggle of, say, human rights organizations or peoples or situations in history, and it is a struggle. Like, we're in. I don't need to talk to you guys. You guys know what we're going through, but I feel like, yeah, maybe that. At the same time, like, I feel like that's, I don't want to say negative, but it's it just sort of frames everything in a kind of a heavy negative light, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. Whereas, like, say, to refer to what we do as the white positive movement, I've always found the best way to think about it or frame it. In the arts specifically, I'd say the arts in the white positive movement are the most positive. Like, there's a lot of infighting and bickering and bullshit that goes on between people. And I've always been like, let's agree to disagree and focus on the problem. That's me. I'm like, let's just work to, if we can't work together, let's at least work side by side facing the enemy rather than each other. That's my gig. I feel like ego is a very serious problem in our movement. I don't want to get too deep into it, but like, these are just the things I think about. I'll put it that way. On this episode of The Things I Think About, Donald will talk about the drama of people's egos and come up with ways in which they can get along. Tune in next week for Donald's advice on blah, blah, blah. Okay. I also sort of feel like these live streams should have some kind of a format type thing to it, like a lot of shows will be like, okay, they have an intro, we're gonna do X, and then we finish that, and then we go to the next segment, and then the next segment, and it feels like a show. You know what I mean? It's like you know that, here comes that segment, and I always like that part where they talk. So they say, like, SNL, for example, that they've got like a news segment, or a music segment, or an intro monologue, blah, blah, blah. That's the kind of thing. That would be nice to, I think it would be neat to have that, but then I wouldn't really be focusing on the drawing. But if you guys have suggestions, I will consider them. So, I'm gonna do a little close up for you on the image here. You can kind of see the guns and how they're sort of looking. It's again, I feel it's pretty symmetrical. I mean, just eyeballing it, I think that they'll work out fairly well. I'm gonna see if there's any chats in here. We got Corey. My eyes aren't. I can't see that small. Hold on a second. Well, Corey's here. Hey, fam. Welcome, Corey. Glad to have you, bud. You know, I always appreciate it if you guys could share this link. That'd be cool. Just kind of let people know I'm out there. I'm going to be doing this fairly frequently, more and more, I should say, as time goes. I've got 2 issues scripted, and I will be starting the page art. I've started a new website. I'll be promoting that. And here's the deal, like this kind of thing, normally you go through, what do you call it? Kickstarter. You guys have probably heard of Kickstarter. You know, and you promote your stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's just how it's done. But since I'm me, and I actually did a Kickstarter with Comicsgate author John Della Rose, that got shut down. That got shadow banned. Our little communist friends got a hold of it and found out what was going on and intimidated Kickstarter, who then shadow banned us. And I didn't make any money off of that gig. So they get to have their little party and say, yay, you know, we hurt you. Oh, isn't that nice? So I'm thinking, you know what? I think I'd rather just do it all myself. Maybe I will control the whole means of production. Boy, I sound like a communist now, right? Only Donald will control the means of production. So we'll see how that pans out. I guess I'm thinking like maybe the first one I'll do by myself, just through my YouTube. And then once I've got a book that people can buy and read and review and all that, then I'll have some traction, so to speak, you know. And then from there, I think I'll maybe give Kickstarter a shot. If it goes well, I can keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? If I run into some BS, then I will go back to doing my own thing. You know, because we people, white positive activists, we're the ones on the I don't know how to put this, like we're the ones in danger, I guess. You know, we put our necks out there. Like a lot of the guys in Comicsgate are very, very lovely guys, cool guys, fun guys. They're not. I don't know if they even know about the white positive movement. I think what maybe, again, I'm totally speculating. I have no criticism of these guys, but I feel like all they want to do is just make fun comics. They're just tired of the woke agenda, and I'm no different. You know, this piece here is the kind of the backdrop of it is political, but it's got a lot of sort of, personal character struggle and all that, the stuff you would expect from any good kind of mythological story, of a hero. I don't want to reveal too much too soon though. Because I'm looking at doing this for like the coming year, like this is going to be what my YouTube channels will be for for the coming year, a whole year. Because one guy with a full-time job doing this in the evenings is going to take a freaking year to do. I'm really not happy about that. Before my mom passed away, I had a different kind of setup, but like my bills have like tripled, and so I'm in a whole different paradigm now. And then, obviously the idea or ideal would be to do this full time. That doesn't happen overnight, and I feel like once I get rolling and I'm producing good quality work, people know who I am, what it is I do, etc., then they will buy into it, and then they will, fund the sort of monthly books that I put out, what have you. Excuse me. And that's actually how it works for the big guys. So, like, most of the guys that are out there, they've already worked for Marvel and DC for many years. So their names, are quite well known. They have a history of, like what they did on Batman or Spider-Man or what have you. And that's mainstream stuff, so like they can get $100,000 in a month from donations. $100,000 in a month. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm obviously not that, but I can produce work as good, if not better. And I know that's like throwing down the gauntlet. Oh, really? Well, let's see what you got. There'll be some kind of fight over that now on the internet. But I know my abilities, so I'm not worried about it. So I feel as if it's sort of a long game. Like it's just a game of like get the work done. It's a temptation to sit around and shitlord on Twitter or other platforms. I've got a Facebook now, and the Facebook is yeah, of course I shitlording on the Facebook, but like it's meant to be for this, and as I get this really really cooking, then I'm just going to try to, comics post, if you will, and get as much of my, try to get regular stuff out there, regular content out there that people can enjoy. And I don't know, I mean, imagine if, say, like Pepe had his own comic book. It'd be a neat thing. You'd want to tune in, every month to see like what the adventures of Pepe, what's he up to. Now, I know that there's actually a real Pepe, right? There's a real guy, I think out in California, who created that character. And there's a documentary on it, which is, meh, if you like, soy boys from California, then you'll love it. But, and, it's just not my cup of tea. It's not my cup of soy. Oh God, I'm funny. Holy cow. Sorry. All right, quick check to the chat here. And I'm looking at a chat to see we got 3 people are still here. They have survived my stupid humor. Nullis! Hey, Nullis. Good man. I was just talking about you, Nullis. I don't know if you were here when I mentioned you. And I'm trying to remember what it was that I said. About you referring to the white positive movement as a struggle. I thought that was a really, like, wow, what an amazing insight that was. And certainly true, Anyway, so here we have a character called Militiaman. And, if you're trying to create a patriot character, there's a lot out there. I mean, if you just look up, Google Patriot superhero, you're gonna see quite a lot. It's almost a hackneyed theme in comics, in superhero comics, and so coming up with something unique is was not really the easiest thing to do. The concept of militiaman to me is not controversial, but in the current political paradigm that we're in, it is. You see, so you know, how do I say this? Like, I'm not trying to create a character or characters that are, what's the word? Like I'm trying to poke at and incite, the left or something. Like, oh no, the domestic terrorism on the rise and the GOP and the blah 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 and all this nonsense. Um, that's basically fake and gay because like conservatives have lost their revolutionary spirit, and that's a nightmare. That's totally anti-American, and I'm disgusted with it. But you know, anyway, I'm going off track here a bit. So maybe this is it. This is this character in a sense is to kind of spark that American spirit, that revolutionary spirit, a bit more. Kind of give us a symbol of ourselves and our American spirit to look back on. So, okay, so you've got this crowd. They're, just sort of the MAGA crowd. That's essentially what they're representing. He's sort of flying over them. This is where the title is going to go. That's why it's blank there. I suppose what I would do is if they've got tiki torches, there should be some kind of smoke coming off that. Now he's flying by them, so the smoke is going to be, like you can tell that, I don't know if you can see it or not, but like the flames are kind of blowing away from where he's coming out of to give a sense of reaction. This is a common device, like a visual device in comics to show things, like if somebody gets punched, then their hair will fly in the direction away from the punch, for example. This is, it just gives a certain physics to the art in a way that makes it believable. And but there's also something beautiful about it. Like if this is a nighttime scene and there's tiki torches, you can imagine the shadows are really going to be beautiful. Am I thinking of Charlottesville? Well, I won't say it. It didn't cross my mind. I have to say I thought whoever came up with the tiki torch idea was not the best optics for that. America was not ready for that. I don't think that they needed like tiki torches to walk through town or whatever it was. Anyway, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. It's amazing how controlling free speech is like the frontier of like the sort of socio-political culture war that we're in. That, who decides what you can say and, where you can say it and how much you can say, what defines free speech, like speech versus reach, they're the same thing. If you're stopping someone from being heard, you're stopping their free speech. That's just nonsense to say like, oh, we'll let you say what you want, but we'll put you in an echo chamber where nobody can hear it. That's nonsense as usual. But we'll see how it all pans out. Got a Boogaloo Boy here in the foreground. We got a dude who's dressed kind of like a Civil War Southerner rebel. And these are kind of the iconic symbols of America. I've got a few just like soccer moms in here too. I've got like I don't know, this dude is more of a ghetto dude. He's got like the earring and the kind of facial hairstyle. We've got some fedora wearers in here. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to represent like, I don't know, different kinds of people that you might see at, say, a Trump rally. And if you look at, I mean, that's actually an interesting thing. Go, Google Trump rally and look in the audience and look at the people and see like the hope and the joy and you know everything in their eyes and their faces. We really, really are craving this kind of hope and happiness and power and self-determination. We demand it. So yeah, there you go. So I was, not even sure I was going to do this tonight. I was like, should I start? Should I kick this off? There's no sort of official kickoff for what I'm doing here. Just a quick look once again at this other piece that I made here. Now we've got 6 people. Here you can see these are sort of the villains. They're this kind of cult that the superheroes are fighting. You've got the sort of demonic figure in the background that is, controlling the cult members that the superheroes have to fight off. There's Militiaman there, Super Shot. We've got your sort of stretchy character, sort of like the Fantastic Four. You've got this character here is called Red Rover. He's not like Iron Man, but he's got his sort of flying gadgetry and yada yada. You've got your standard what's it, like an archer type character like Hawkeye, Green Arrow. It's really, really gonna be cool. There's much, much more to it as well. I mean, I think this is gonna take at least 8 issues to tell this story. And like I said, I'm gonna be doing this for like a year. This is gonna take a tremendous amount of time to finish this. Oops. I'm gonna check the chat real quick, see if there's any. I'm not seeing anything here. What do we got? I accidentally hit the enter button before I completed the sentence. What do we got here, Nellis? I like the tiki torches because they keep mosquitoes and other parasites at bay. Yes, actually, that's what's good about it. Oh boy, I wasn't archaeology. Sorry, just catching up on what you guys are chatting about. Thank you, White Calling. I appreciate your condolences. Do your thing. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, so, hey there, Rosemary. Oh my gosh, the marvelous and magical Rosemary is here. What a tremendous gal. Super beautiful and super intelligent and charming and marvelous. Okay. So I'm going to kind of get down into here and just sort of start working on these folks here. Is one of, I don't know if I would call it a trick, but one of the techniques in comics is sort of the moving around of the page, because your hand only moves like that pretty much, right? So you're going to sort of move the page to accommodate what you need to do. You know what? Like I said, it would be cool if there was sort of like a ding that I could hear, and then I would know that I'm getting a chat or someone's trying to say something to me. But for now, I will just focus. And when you're inking, you can't erase. So there's like I don't want to say stress, but like you put more attention on it. And then I always leave some room for creativity, I think like I said, in the pencil phase, I'm really just sort of trying to lay out what is what, put things where they need to go. A little bit of jazz in the background. The funny thing about doing sort of playing jazz during these streams, I'll always get a notification from YouTube saying, like, this is not a strike to your channel, but you may have used music that was copyrighted or blah 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 blah. And I'm like, it explicitly says that it's not when I when I find these things, but I guess there's worse things that could happen in life. It's funny because here it is Friday night. I worked today and I, had dinner and took a nap. It was like, yeah, it was one of those days, sort of the end of the week. I got snowed in. Um, just too much going on, and I needed to crash. And then what I hate is, like, if let's say you take a nap around, I don't know, 6 or something, and you wake up, I don't know, hour later or whatever, and you're mush. You're just like total mush. You're like, in a sense, you're not awake and you're not asleep. You know what I mean? It's just a pretty awful kind of state to be in, and I get super depressed when I'm in a state like that, and it's very, very unhealthy. So that's kind of part of what I'm doing here, is to sort of be like, dude, man, don't go down that rabbit hole. Like, get yourself doing something productive. I have like 2 friends that wanted to hang out tonight and kind of made excuses not to. Not that I don't want to be with them, but I want to be with my art. You know what I mean? I want to be with the feeling of accomplishment. I don't know about you, but for me, and I would say for a lot of artists, if you don't feel like you're accomplishing something, you get kind of sick in a way. Not physically sick, but like just very, very unhappy with yourself. And it's not good. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's really, really not a good thing. Because that kind of, I mean, I'm already dealing with like the grief with my mom. So like, I can't be, I don't know, just having that sensation of like not accomplishing things or what have you. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. Take a look at the camera. Oh yeah, a little bit. Okay. And maybe I can get your input. I have to be honest, I sort of feel like maybe these streams are boring for people, and I'm trying to think, well, what could I possibly do to make them more interesting? Or should I be even thinking about that? Maybe I should just focus on the work, but you guys seem to like what I do, and so I'm just going to keep doing it. One thing I want to recommend as well, I've been catching some of Dave Martell's YouTube shows. They're really, really good. He's having these different authors on. So Dave Martell runs the Bizarre Archives. Bizarre Archives, thebizarchives.com. If you don't know, now you know. Check it out. He is publishing really, really cool stuff. It's our stuff, meaning, taking back Pulp Fiction, creating content that is heroic, that, is for our people. And it's definitely not like explicitly political. I would definitely say probably not at all. Other than the fact that it's good literature and it's not about weird woke garbage. There's another show that I watch on YouTube. I can't remember the name of it. RJ is the guy who runs the show. It's a comics podcast, and I'll have to find that out and get you guys the information. But what I'm trying to say is that essentially the mission of the left is to destroy everything that has come before and then to replace it with just woke agenda, and to even make it so that anybody who thinks the old fashioned stuff was good is somehow a bad guy, cis male garbage, whatever all that. Producing good quality, positive, like white positive art is a kind of revolutionary act in today's world. And, it's just a normal thing to do, but apparently not anymore. In this kind of environment, now you're a rebel, when you do that. So rebel's gonna rebel, you know what I mean? And that's me. The other funny thing is my next door neighbor is having a party tonight. And like I could actually hear the music and the people screaming and shouting. And I'm like, maybe that's not the best night to do this streaming stuff, right? So if you start, hearing people singing and screaming and yelling, then maybe they broke into my house and dragged me off to their party. Check the chat, see if there's anything going on. Got a few more people here. What do we got? Juggle. I better go back and see what's going on in the conversation. We got, hey Donald. Never trust anyone who leaves room for creativity. Oh yeah, those bad people. Good to have you here, Budgie Burger. And let us know those streams are perfect, not boring. Only thing to make this stream better is Earth, Wind, and Fire. This is great. Maybe I could start singing some, what's do you remember? And just get rehearse some tunes and just start like singing for you guys, like a Donald Kent karaoke. Oh my God, I think we're onto something, guys. Kent karaoke. That is a concept right there. some time ago. I mean, we're talking like, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or more. Time's slipping my mind, but White Art Collective used to have karaoke nights, and I really miss those. I really miss those. I did. I rickrolled everybody. I did that song. Somebody made a very funny. It was sort of a mashup meme where they took my avatar face and put it over the Rick, whatever his name is, from that song. And anyway, it's just really, really funny stuff. But I like that, the White Art Collective does fun, chill stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we have tons of heavy stuff in our sphere. We got lots of very nice content, really, really intelligent thinkers out there. Jefferson Lee is back, by the way. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. It's a buddy of mine. I've a lot to say about that. Actually, he was one of the first guests on Imperium Art in one of the earlier shows, which is interesting because he's not sort of like a guy you associate with the arts so much, but he had some very intelligent things to say. Essentially about like us having kind of like a financial class, a patron class, and just sort of funding the arts and these things. And it's funny because I mean that's kind of what I'm not funding the arts, but I'm going to be asking people for donations for the graphic novel that I'm producing, and I'll put that money towards digital coloring and digital lettering, and then probably also to the some publishing costs, distribution costs. I've got a bit of a ways to go on some of those topics, but I do have a publisher. There's really many publishing options. It's not, these days, anybody can publish. I mean, which essentially means that there's no guarantee of quality, but I've got a pretty good publisher though. That's another nice thing about having your own publisher is that, and he's not in the country either. He's based out of the country. So, like, if people try to shut me down or whatever, they can't find him. They don't know who he is. They don't know how to disrupt what it is that I'm doing. And that's kind of my plan, is to get this venture sort of going in such a way as, I can be in charge. Large and in charge. That's right, folks. Large and in charge. No fat shaming here, guys. Okay. So one of the little things I'm doing in this image is that I've got people with their hands on the shoulder of the person in front of them to kind of show almost like a physical unity, in and among these characters here, and how they're kind of looking after each other and the like. So like there's just a human quality to it. I feel that white Americans are the most disenfranchised, the most demoralized and brutalized people in America, and it's daily. It gets worse and worse and worse. And to kind of have a little bit of just a little show of compassion in this way, I feel is like a nice, just adds a nice quality to it. And it's tricky because this is a comic book cover, right? So I'm like, what am I doing? Is this like, should that be on a comic book cover? Isn't it supposed to be like explosions, and cool shit, super villains and giant robots, which I like all that stuff. But anyway, Um, I don't know. I feel like to say a Trump supporter, they could identify with this and feel like, yeah, this is embodying my anger and my frustration, my powerlessness, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas some, say, like a Democrat or somebody on the left, would look at this and feel threatened by it, maybe. And I'm not like threatening anybody. I'm making art. Okay, drawing a picture. I'm just drawing pictures. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting dynamic to sort of think through, like, how people see things differently and how that obviously relates to who they are, and their values, and of course the indoctrination. Um, just more thoughts on that topic. I feel like at the core, or kind of at the heart of the political divide in America is, of course, identity. We all know that, but it's experience. Like, people are having different experiences, and their experience, how do I say, is their identity. Like, this happened to me, and that happened to me, and that happened to me, and therefore that is me. That's an interesting concept to say, like, are you the sum of your experiences or not? Are you your choices? Of course, you make your choices on your experiences and such. Um, I just find this stuff interesting. Let's see if you guys are chatting about something up here. 9 people? What are you 9 people doing here? I guess you're watching me draw. So let's see, what do we got here? Oh yeah, karaoke. Yeah, Nullis, I think your best performance was the Grinch. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You've got a great baritone for that. I'd pay money to hear that again, bro. Let's see. What do we got? Kentaroki. Oh, we got to trademark that. That's a good one, Budgie Burger. Hiroki. It almost sounds like a Japanese anime character or something. The cats next door started to scream. Yes, I like that version. My personal favorite is Fornell and Hyrith. Fornell is phenomenal as a musician. I mean, the guy is stellar. Like, what an incredible talent. And then combine him and Hyrith, those two could pretty much have a band together, like regularly, you know. Exceptional. What else? That was a lot of fun. All this, yes, sorry, but the jazz is making it weird. Not saying it's bad. Now, what music would you like to hear? I mean, I can toss something else on. I play a lot of, what do you call it? Classical. Maybe I'll put on some classical if you can hang tight. I'll put this on screen so there's something to look at. No, not the Joe Rogan experience. No, that's enough. Okay, thank you. Uh, blah, 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 blah. Of course, there's always a commercial, so I turn the sound off during commercials. A bit of Baroque guitar for you all. I hope you enjoy it. Having a spot of tea. Right, so now we've got 6 people. Terribly sorry about that. I hope that I did not bore you too much. Alright, so. One of the tricky parts of comics is drawing people from a distance. The kind of trick to it is to not put as much detail in. You know, if you see someone from a distance, you can't see the details, you know. So you don't draw them. There's a certain level of, I don't know, trying to figure out, well, what do I keep and what do I take out, you know? How subtle do I get with that? You know, in my original design of this, I had them carrying pitchforks. Carrying pitchforks and, you know, like weapons and stuff. And I kind of thought, you know, I like the drama of that. I like, you know, just the drama of it and how it kind of has certain look to it, but it paints these people as looking like a mob, and plays into the whole lie that they are insurrectionists or what have you, all that crap. And so I thought, nah, that's it doesn't convey the correct intent here. So yeah, so there you go. That's probably a commercial, like a car commercial. It's sad how like classical music has been like co-opted for car commercials. You know, you hear something and like you're bracing for some kind of commercial. And there is a commercial on right now. I'm talking over it to try to not have it on my stream. So it's kind of like la 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 la. But I'll just turn that off temporarily. Give it a fast forward, skip ad, click a Rooney. So it's Friday night. What have you guys been up to? What's going on in your worlds? What do we got here? Donald, do you research any images for these drawings? Absolutely. Um, let's see. Well, let me go back a bit first, because you guys have been chatting quite a bit. I'm trying to catch up. Hyreth Fernal. This is great. Jazz. Okay, we changed the music. Wolf Shield tried to rope me into one of those streams. Yeah, there's a reason I only do instrumental. Okay, I get it now. Now we understand. Everly Brothers. Oh gosh, that would be good. They are known for their harmonies, and their harmonies are fantastic. But it's probably copyrighted or something. Donald, do you research images? Yes. So I was talking at the beginning of this stream about looking up different guns for the gun designs that I have here. These I'm just doing kind of from memory. I don't know the names of guns. I'm not like a gun enthusiast or something. But yeah, and you know, just there's a dude here. There's sort of like a boogaloo boy, and these guys wear those special vests that have like you can put clips in them, and this, you know, they're gonna have like he'll have like the "Don't Tread on Me" flag on his hat, and you know, that's everybody knows that. But oftentimes you do have to research images and whatnot, and you kind of keep it on your phone. Okay. Monaghan boy, great to have you there. Thanks for joining us. And you guys, if you do have any questions, you can. Do you prefer doing pencils or inking more? Oh, that's like one of the hardest questions to answer. They're different processes. I will say that the inking is much more pleasurable. There's something about the art of inking that is really enjoyable and satisfying. I'm not going to say who, but my teacher who taught me how to do comics he's an inker. And if you're an inker, you're not a tracer. You know, you're not tracing people's lines, and anybody who calls himself an inker and just traces people's lines is a joke. You should, you know, not work with somebody like that. Inking is drawing with ink, you know, and it's like drawing with a brush, if you will. You are using sort of brushy type lines. There's a whole, there's just a whole history to it. There's a whole logic to it. There's a whole kind of way of thinking that goes into inking, and you know, whenever I like to say this. I like to say that inkers are the bass players of comics. Think of that. That's an interesting way to look at it. Now, you kind of maybe the average person doesn't really pay attention to the bass player or something. But if you took the bass out, it would be like so flat and so, it would just not be, it just wouldn't feel finished. I feel like inking has a lot to do with the publishing process too. Like you have to have kind of graphic lines that are easy for people to read and visually read. That they print well is essentially what I'm kind of saying here. So um, that's probably where inking like came from, if you will. Like I don't know that I can't really say, but it's definitely more enjoyable. The pencil work is work. It's figuring things out. It's like at the beginning of this stream, I was trying to make the hands and the guns symmetrical. So I was like using a ruler to kind of match, like, okay, this can, how far are they from the edges. It's very, very technical. It's fun. It is, it's still, and it's still fun or whatever. But um you would say that, like, the pencil part is more the work part, I guess, whereas I can be very creative with inking. And so it's more relaxing, I guess, in that regard. Sorry for giving these really long answers. I tend to do that. Mm. I like this character here, sort of like a biker with an old Civil War hat on. He actually has a bit of a downtrodden look to him, and that's intentional. I'm sort of trying to show, I guess, the sadness of, like, the loss of connection to our history. Um, like I said, like the rebel spirit, like Americans, whites have lost their revolutionary spirit, and I feel like probably really this project is to set a fire under that and kind of reawaken that, in a positive way. So, like, marching alongside this old dude here, this kind of biker dude, with this rebel hat on. It's got something to it. I'm saying something, and I feel like when you look at a comic book cover, in an instant, you're judging whether or not you want to read the book. So there's really something to the art of making covers. Like I've done some covers for the Bizarre Archives, for example, and I've done a bunch of covers for Josh Neal and who else? White People's Press and blah 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 blah. It's a thing. Um, in a sense, you are selling the book, but you're also kind of telling a story. You're trying to say, here's like it's like a trailer, I guess. Think of it that way. I mean that's a heck of a way to look at it, but yeah, I guess that's what I want to say. And people who are older and kind of have that, the look to their faces where like they've been through a lot in life. They're more interesting to draw. They just have more character, and that's just more pleasurable to draw. Uh, I actually find like pretty women are difficult to draw, in the sense that like, well, what's pretty? What's beauty? And I'm not talking like sexy anime girls. That to me is not beautiful. I don't like that personally, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody who's into that, but I don't know. I just think like there's sort of conventional beauty, and then there's another type that like for example, I would say like mm, there's a girl I met a couple summers ago, and I had what I call a soul crush on her. Yeah, she was very, very, very pretty girl, but it wasn't that. It was actually her spirit. It was her energy. There you go. It was her energy, and I was completely enamored with this energy. It's just so pure and positive and healthy and innocent, inspiring. It's not like when I'm around her, I feel inspired. I feel energetic. I don't know. It just brings something out of me, and that's a whole other kind of beauty, you know. And it is physical, but it's also like behavioral, you know. Um, I don't know how do you describe someone's energy. It's how they talk, think, act, but how they look is integral to that, if you know what I mean. So you can see the story's kind of coming alive a little bit here with these characters. It's kind of hello, who do we got? Oh, that's Nollis. White Student Transmission is here. This is one of the coolest dudes in our movement. He is someone who deserves a lot more attention. Um, I don't know. I just always have great interactions, and I'm happy that you are here. White student transmission. Chill times. Yeah, that's right. Juge. Hey, welcome. It's not based enough. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going back into the chat here. Do you prefer doing pencils? Yeah, we talked about that. Mm, do I have an Instagram account for the art? I just recently made one for Donald Kent Art, but it's really just a like a placeholder. Like I don't. My YouTube is really where I'm gonna be. Not my YouTube and my Facebook. I've got a Gab now as well, and it's all under the name Donald Kent Art. So like you just look those things up. Looks great. Yes, your line weights are amazing. Corey, I am extremely grateful that you say that and that you notice that because that is the art of inking. It line weights, the bounciness of the lines, the texture of the lines. Um, it's the joy of inking. And it's there you go. It's kind of what I'm saying about this. So, well, gents, I feel as if like I probably have wasted enough of your time tonight on this lovely Friday night. Go out and go dancing and go get drunk or do something fun. Um, it's just tricky for me to do this with other stuff going on. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it up. I think it looks like I'm going on more than an hour, 82 minutes. So I thank you so much for coming. Build a snowman. Yeah, that's the thing to do. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for coming to my stream. Please share this and let other people know. I will eventually be doing this frequently throughout the week because I've got, like I said, I've got like, you know, 8, 10 issues of comics to draw. So thanks again for it. It's just lovely to have my friends around. Makes me feel good. And I wish you all the best. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And we'll see you on the internets.